All right, everybody. We are back. I know I've been away for a little bit. Sorry, I've been busy. We're doing a bunch of stuff with U Stadium. I'm getting on some TV stuff. So I've been a little bit all over the place. But we are back, baby. Another episode of the Frankie V podcast. Ready for this one? It's been a minute, but I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to go through some topics today. But again, the Frankie V podcast, it's unfiltered, mostly unscripted. Today, I'm going to go through some topics that I have at the top of my head, but I have them in the little corner, a little notepad in the corner, just to make sure I'm not all over the place like I can be. But yeah, we're going to go through some topics today. But again, unfiltered, unscripted, Frankie V podcast. Let's get rocking and rolling. Topic number one, we're going to discuss if the Jets can actually win the Super Bowl. Is that actually a realistic possibility? Because Louis Riddick said there's no shot the Jets can win the Super Bowl. Offensive tackle at 10. Are we going to get an offensive tackle at 10 or not? What do I think and who do I really like? I'm going to get into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about us being at Radio Row at the NFL Combine. Let's go, team. You, all about the U, baby. And I will discuss what I had previously said on the New York Post Sports, if Robert Saleh still has a possibility to be out as the New York Jets head coach, because I said Woody Johnson's very pissed off, and there's over a 50% chance, in my opinion, that Saleh will be gone. And I'll give you one bold prediction about what I think the Jets are going to do this offseason and who they're going to trade for. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to discuss if I think Jalen Brunson, I'll end the show, as a top 10 player. I think that's a great topic, and I have a really opinionated opinion about that. So with that being said, let's rock. Topic number one, do the Jets have a realistic shot to win the Super Bowl? Here are some comments that Louis Riddick had to say. I'm going to play them right now.
They better get some. They better get some and make sure that they can protect their quarterback coming off of a major injury now. Do we really think that the Jets, for the Jets, realistically?
Yeah.
As a Jets fan, are you realistically believing that they can go from what happened last year to the Super Bowl?
If you're a Jets fan, you're believing
you
whatever.
Believe that can really happen.
You're believing whatever.
That ain't happening, Bart. That is not happening. There ain't a chance in hell that happens.
Lou, they won.
All right. You heard it right there. Then Bart Scott proceeds to come in and tell Louis Riddick about the Jets having a top 5 defense and Aaron Rodgers being back, XYZ. Let's dive right into it. Louis Riddick's not wrong. Louis Riddick is not wrong. This coaching staff stinks. They stink. And I don't care that our defense is top 5. We don't blitz enough. We don't force enough turnovers. So if you want to depend on your defense to win you a Super Bowl, you got to do what the Ravens did in 2000. You got to do what the Bucs did in 2002. You got to force turnovers and get points because your offense can't freaking score. I don't trust Robert Saleh. I definitely don't trust Nate Hackett. I don't trust any of the offensive coaches. Now they're scrambling, firing guys late, switching around, playing musical chairs. Give me a freaking break. It's a Mickey Mouse run offense. And the defense is good, very good, solid. Guys are in their zones. Quinnen Williams gets double teamed a lot and has pause and has a high PFF score and is basically always clogging up A gap, which allows our linebackers to get tackles. Cool. You had 5.5 sacks, bud. You're a top 3 paid defensive tackle, bud. Can you do a little bit more? Sauce Gardner, I had as many interceptions as you this year. Can you do a little bit more? Am I wrong? If this team wants to win a Super Bowl, we either need MVP Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be 40 years old, coming off an Achilles injury. Is he going to have the same drive? Is he going to have the pep in his step? Is he going to be able to afford pressures? Because newsflash, the offensive line isn't going to get fixed overnight. A lot of teams in history have tried to fix offensive lines in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. It's very difficult to do. The best guys stay with their current teams for the most part. Great offensive linemen aren't usually available, and when they are, they're extremely expensive. Ask the team across the street from us, the Giants, how freaking long they've been trying to fix their offensive line. It's not an easy thing to do. 1, 2, if I don't think our offense is going to be top 15, and I don't think our offense will be top 15. I think we'll be like 17 to 20 range, which shit is much better than what we were this year. The worst offense in maybe 30 years in the NFL, 32nd, just garbage upon trash upon freaking basura. It was terribly run. The worst I've ever seen. So if we're 17-18, I need that defense to get me 6. Sauce, got to get a pick. Quinnen, can a ball drop in your lap like it did against Philly, which, by the way, is one of the reasons we won that game? Can you do that a few more times? Can C.J. Mosley hold on to a damn football? That's why I want Jordan Whitehead here, because he was one of the only guys that was able to get his hands on the ball throughout the year. I know he's a free agent. I know he'll be expensive. We need guys that are going to be able to force turnovers. That is what can win us a Super Bowl. So to answer Louis Riddick's question, right now, no, the Jets, in my opinion, have a very low chance to win a Super Bowl. Just keeping it a buck, just calling a spade because of this coaching staff and us thinking that this defense is top 5 and elite when it is top 5, but it's not elite because they cannot score touchdowns. And unfortunately, we have to depend on the damn defense to score touchdowns because the offense can't. And I know Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I want to see it first. So, with that being said, this offseason is one of the biggest offseasons that Joe Douglas is ever going to have as a New York Jets GM. He needs to really nail this out of the park. He's got a bunch of positions to fill. We have to fill offensive tackle. We also have to figure out what's going to happen at guard. Is Tippmann going to play center or is he going to play guard? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the best answer there is. Maybe keep him at I'd probably keep him at center for another year. That's just my opinion. More experience. He knows the system, I guess. But we need another wide receiver or 2. We may even why not upgrade tight end a little bit? Do we want mid Conklin and mid Ruckert to be the guys out there when you're trying your best to score points? Do we need maybe another running back? Is this Izzy Abanikanda, which, by the way, we just didn't play at the end of the year last year because for whatever reason, I guess we needed to win those games, right? It would have been nice, right, to have like a top 5 or 6 pick right now, right, where we could just slate ourselves in for Joe Alt or definitely for Fashanu or maybe even Malik Neighbors. That would have been really nice, right? But no, we had to win. We had to give Brees 37 carries the last game of the season because big bad Robert Saleh needed to flex his muscles to the owner, I guess, or to us, even though most Jeff fans think he's a bottom 5 head coach. Not to get off topic. What are the Jets going to do at 10? I have my top 4 and what I would do at 10. So I have 1A, I have 1B, I have 2, and I have 3. So that's 4. It's my way of counting. 1A, I have Olu Fashanu. I like him slightly better than Joe Alt for one reason and one reason only. He is a better pass blocker. I went through it. Joe Alt is in a heavy 3-point stance. They run a heavy run-style offense. He's not a typical pass pro left tackle that he's getting into his stance and dropping back and leveraging himself and balancing himself as a wall left tackle. Can he do it? Yes, he's strong enough, but he depends too much on his strength to effectively pass block. I like Fashanu because he just understands that natural lean and that natural positioning in a deep step for an offensive tackle, and he's able to get his paws on the edge or defensive lineman, and you can't move the guy. He's a house. Alt is stronger than Fashanu, but he doesn't position himself as well. That's the only reason. Alt is a much better run blocker, in my opinion. So if you want Alt, I'm cool with that. That's why he's my 1B, Fashanu's 1A. Get one of the two. I would get Fashanu because, honestly, I don't think our offensive line is going to be a run-heavy or a very good run-blocking line. I just don't see it with Rodgers. Rodgers likes to get the ball out quick. They're going to throw the ball a bunch. Protect the big guy back there. Fashanu, 1A. I like Joe Alt, 1B. Then 2, listen, I'm trying to score points. You know what they say? You score the points, you get the cheerleaders. It's the tail as long as time in the NFL. How do you score points? You get Malik Neighbors. That's what I would do after one of these two tackles. I'm not sold on Fuaga. I don't think that you want to just get a right tackle. And what if he doesn't work out? You lower your upside by getting a right tackle who's a run-focused right tackle. If it doesn't work out, you really screw yourself. And then if he's really good, yeah, you shore up right tackle. You still need left tackle. You still need another receiver or two. You still need more weapons on this team in general. So you don't fix any of that stuff if the right tackle works out. And the right tackle is less important than the left tackle. So it's just, yes, it might be more of a sure thing because I think Fuaga is going to be just a very good or solid right tackle in this league. But I'm not going with Fuaga. So Malik Neighbors is 2 for me, or 3 in this list. And then I'm going Brock Bowers, 4. Why am I going Brock Bowers? We got to score points. I am sick of these tight ends who suck. And if you guys remember, the last time the Jets were good, we actually had a good tight end in Dustin Keller. You got to have good tight ends in New York. The weather's bad. It gets cold in deep in the playoffs if you want to get there. You got to get the ball out quick and let these guys get yak. You need to do it. It just is what it is. There's a reason Gronk worked in New England. You got to get someone that can come in and get us yak because we're going to get the ball out quick, especially if our offensive line isn't fixed. Get Brock Bowers after those 3 I just named. Then after that, you could play with the offensive tackles. You could say Fuaga's next, and you could say Latham, or you could say Mims, whatever. I'm down with that also. But I'm going with those 4 guys because those are the most realistic options, and I think have the highest upside for us to score points. Scoring points in the NFL is everything, and I don't think the Jets understand that enough. Now, later in the draft, I'd look at a receiver, 3rd round, 4th round. We don't have a 2nd round pick. I would look at somebody like Jacob Cowing, who I think could be an awesome slot in this league. Amon-Ra St. Brown-like. You look at Lade McConkey out of Georgia. You can get somebody late that can play slot receiver for us. Then I would also look at free agency. I would go after someone like Tyler Boyd. I think it'll be inexpensive to sign him, and I think he'll provide us with veteran leadership, and he's a great route runner. He was 11th in the NFL in slot yards. When he did play wide receiver too, he put up some big years. 2 years, he had over 1,000 yards. He had 90 catches 1 year. To get that on a $24-25 million contract over 3 years, Alan Lazard, see ya. He'll be out of here. He won't even be playing. So you could bring in Boyd for about half the money as Lazard, even though it's not technically half, but you get the point. And Lazard doesn't have to play wide receiver too. If he can't play, put Boyd in there and we're good. The kid you drafted in the 3rd or 4th round can then play. You could put in Brownlee, and then you could play Gibson. And you'll have somewhat of a receiving core with Garrett Wilson being the head honcho. But I have a little secret for you guys. I am going to be like Santa Claus, and I'm going to deliver you the best present of your life right now. I am coming down the chimney with something that you guys are going to love. I think the Jets are, and this is my prediction, I think the Jets are going to go and trade for Davante Adams. I really do. And I'll tell you why. There's 2 reasons why the Jets are going to get Davante Adams. Because Aaron Rodgers wants him, and Aaron Rodgers calls the shots. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, he calls the shots. He says whatever he wants, he gets whatever he wants. He gets any player he wants. He's never not had that. If he doesn't like something, he leaves. He likes Davante. 1. 2, Davante doesn't like being in Vegas. You could tell everything he said. I know he has said that he likes Antonio Pierce and he wants him to be the coach. That's for Antonio Pierce's sake. That's not because Davante Adams wants to be a Vegas Raider. So I'm telling you guys, I think Davante Adams is going to be a New York Jet. And if you have Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, you'd sign someone like Tyler Boyd, or at that point, you wouldn't necessarily need to. You could draft a receiver. You play this Brownlee kid a little bit, and Gibson. Oh, those wide receivers look clean. That is nice, man. That is like after you do your laundry, you just look at your apartment, you're like, oh, you clean everything up. Oh, it's clean. I'm feeling good. Looking at those receivers, I mean, that might be the best receiving core we've ever had. I'll do jumping jacks in the shower, you know? So that's what we need. We need Davante Adams here, and if he is here, we're looking nice. What's the trade going to be? Probably a third with conditions attached to it. Could be multiple threes. Could be a future two. You know what? I don't care. Just don't give up a first. We can't draft second-round picks anyway. So, I mean, just give up one in the future if you want. But I don't think it'll take that. You're taking his money on. Then you're going to have to restructure some guys. I would move on from JFM. I don't think he works here. I don't like all the penalties. I think he disappears. 3.5 sacks last year is not enough production. Being outside the top 70 on PFF, stopping the run when people think he's a good run stopper doesn't make any sense. He's a top 20 paid edge. Take him and ship him out. I get rid of him for anything. I take a 7th for him. Why? Because you unload that money. We don't need him. He doesn't play enough. We have Jermaine Johnson and we got Will McDonald. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to speak too much about the Bryce Huff stuff. We're not going to sign him back, likely. I don't think he wants to be here. I've said this before. I've said this on U Stadium. I've said this on the New York Post Sports. I've said this on SNY Digital. I think Bryce Huff wants to go somewhere where he's going to be an every down edge, and Robert Saleh will not make him an every down edge because he can't play the run. Rightfully so. I get both sides. I get Robert Saleh saying you can't play the run, you can't go into our stunt games, and Bryce Huff saying, well, I know, but I'm getting as many pressures as someone like Haason Reddick, who's considered one of the best edges in football, at less than half the amount of snaps as Haason Reddick. Can you let me eat? Can you let me get 15-plus sacks? Maybe I'll even get closer to 20. Maybe I'll be one of the best edge. We'll see. We will see. Because when he goes somewhere else, you're going to have a guy that if he ends up getting 17-plus sacks, we're going to look at it and we're going to slap ourselves in the face and wonder why Joe Douglas didn't make a move to sign him when his stock wasn't at its highest. Because that's what's going on right now with Bryce Huff. His stock is at its highest level. You don't want to buy stock at its highest. But sometimes in life, you buy stock at its highest price because that might end up being its lowest price in 3 to 4 years. You don't know. That's the game. All right, so with that being said, I'm just going to play some comments I had about Robert Saleh being gone, that I think he will be gone, and that I heard that Woody Johnson was very pissed off about the Athletic article and why I think that'll lead to him getting rid of Robert Saleh. We did find out that Woody Johnson was really pissed off because he told reporters at the NFL Honors Dinner that he has never been that mad in his life, and that was as mad as he's ever been, and there'll be a lot of shakeups going on. But yeah, let's play my comments from that. And this, again, is on the Jake Assman show, who does an excellent job for ESPN Radio and has his own independent brand at the moment. I saw him out in Vegas. Jake's the man. These are my comments on his show in regards to the New York Post Sports comments I had with Ryan Sampson. I do a weekly show on Thursdays. Shout-outs to Ryan, by the way. I know you're in Aruba. Enjoy life, man. They call it one happy island for a reason. Go to Zero-Overs, get as much fish and plantains as you can there. Put all that nice hot sauce. They got some of the best hot sauce you're ever going to have. Go to Stellaris Casino, bet away because you're not going to get rigged with your money like you are in Vegas. And go enjoy Moomba Beach. Dial it back. Act like you're 21 that night. Moomba Beach is awesome. But let's play my comments with Jake Assman on what I said on the New York Post. I know through Nick and through others that Woody Johnson is pissed off about what happened. And the team, in my opinion, I don't know the next steps, but they're doing diligence on what exactly happened and where does Robert Saleh stand in all of this and how much culpability does he have. And just like when Mike LaFleur was fired and how there were murmurs going on and there was sort of these days of darkness like we kind of have right now. There's something going on. I know this happy birthday thing is stupid. I agree, it's pretty stupid. But the Jets are very socially conscious, especially social media wise, as to what they're putting out there. They'll say happy birthday. I'm surprised you haven't gone a happy birthday yet, honestly. But they'll give everyone, connected with the team, players, practice squad guys, they'll give them a happy birthday. The head coach, you don't give a happy birthday to. What is going on there? And that's not the main reason, but if you just look at how the Jets operate and Woody Johnson, I think there are conversations going on between Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers, as they called him the GM, and Joe Douglas is the assistant GM. There are conversations going on about what are the next, in my opinion, the next best steps. I'm not 100% sure Saleh's going to be fired. It's my opinion as to what I'm feeling and seeing and murmurs that I'm hearing. I don't think he's going to be the head coach. I'm over 50% on it. Am I 80%? No, but I'm over 50%. All right. So was I right? Yes and no. Where I was right is Woody Johnson was very pissed off, which we know from the NFL Honors dinner. He told reporters, this is as mad as he's ever been with any staff. So I was right there. Where I'm wrong is, at this point, I'm not over 50% that Robert Saleh is going to be gone. I wish Woody Johnson had it a little bit more in him to get rid of that guy, because that guy is not the guy to win us a Super Bowl. To me, he's not. He's not ready yet. It takes time in life to become good at things. It takes time to build a business. I know I've been building one for 10 years, and we're still struggling in some aspects. It takes time. A first, second, third year head coach, new to this whole thing, that's used to calling defenses, and even that he didn't do for that long. It's difficult to give him the keys to an operation, to the Ferrari that needs to go 220 miles an hour through the finish line with everyone behind you. That's hard. That's not easy. I'm not mad at Robert Saleh. I don't think he's lazy or anything. I don't think he's not trying. He's just not ready. Look what the Bucs did. When the Bucs brought in Brady, what did they do? They brought in Arians. Someone who's ready, who's mature, who's ready to win. This guy's just young. It's going to take him time. And he better hope that he's able to continue his path as a head coach in this league. Some guys, they flame out. They come in, they get a job for 3 years somewhere, eventually as a head coach, 4 years, then they never get another opportunity. Or they do, but it takes maybe another 5 or 10 years. You see it with Raheem Morris. He was a head coach for a little bit. He didn't get a head coaching gig again until recently. So it takes time. I don't think Saleh's ready. And I am a Jets fan. I want the best coach to give us the best chance to win a Super Bowl. I don't have to blindly tell myself that this head coach is the answer. I don't think he is. I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because he's probably going to be our head coach. He's still going to be here. All right, so with that said, I'm just going to end the show with a Knicks topic just because I'm a Knicks fan. I know people sometimes tell me, oh, you're a casual NBA fan. You're this. You don't know the basketball. Newsflash, I know probably almost just as much about NBA ball and basketball as I do the NFL. When I was younger, I used to only watch the Knicks. I watched the Jets after I was watching the Knicks in the mid to late 90s. I know ball. I used to play pickup ball every single day, 7 days a week. 52 weeks out of the year, I would be at the park with my boy Kenny and a bunch of other people, that just whoever came by, and we would play basketball all day, every day. I didn't start playing football until my sophomore year, and I started a freshman basketball program at my high school. I was the JV MVP of my basketball team. I didn't want to play football in college. I was basically forced to play football because I was a big, fat, I'll admit, I was a big, fat Italian kid who was very fast. So that works in high school. If you're big, fat, and fast, you could do whatever the hell you want in high school sports, because most people aren't big, fat, and fast. Those Those three things don't really go together that often. So I played my JV year, football, got moved up to varsity, but I was more of a basketball guy. I love basketball. I know when I said the Knicks, for example, should get in Tyus Jones and got laughed at on Twitter for it to back up Jalen Brunson, I knew that'd be a perfect backup point guard. I got laughed at about it. I don't want people to question my basketball acumen. I don't. You can question my baseball one anytime you want. My basketball one, don't go there, because I'm telling you, I know ball, and I'll burn you if you think that I'm a casual. Again, sorry I'm in a bad mood. I've been cranky. With that said, is Jalen Brunson a top 10 player in the NBA? The answer is yes, he is. Yes, he is. Jalen Brunson is the first NBA player since Michael Jordan, the GOAT, the first ever since Jordan to have 50-plus points, 9-plus assists, 5-plus rebounds, and 5-plus steals in a game. I'll read that again. The first NBA player since Michael Jordan to have 50-plus points, 9-plus assists, 5-plus rebounds, and 5-plus steals in a game. Jalen Brunson. Nobody's done that. LeBron hasn't done that. Kobe hasn't done that. Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, all these centers, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, nobody. Luka Doncic. It is Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson is one of 4 players ever in this season, first 50 games of this season, to average 27-plus points a game, 6-plus assists per game, on 40+% from 3. He joins LeBron James, Larry Bird, and Steph Curry. All 3 of those guys are top 10 all-time players. So you're going to tell me that Jalen Brunson's not top 10 today? Save it. Save it. You know why people don't give Jalen Brunson the love that he deserves? There's one reason. He doesn't look the part. He's small and he's slow and he can't really jump. He has no ups. That's it. If Jalen Brunson was in the mold of Allen Iverson, just literally moved like him and did exactly what AI does on a court, which, by the way, Brunson shoots almost 50% from the field, which AI never did. AI never shot with that much efficiency. And Brunson's almost at the same amount of points per game. Regardless, not to compare, but if Brunson looked a little bit flashier and was a little quicker and had better handles, and you're like, wow, he's just dropping guys like AI used to do and is able to elevate like AI did or, Dwayne Wade, there wouldn't even be a question he's a top 10 player. People look at him, see his lack in physical attributes as a clutch on him, as something that you're going to look at and say, wow, if LeBron James guards Jalen Brunson in a playoff series, Jalen's not going to be able to get by him because he's too slow, doesn't have the handles, doesn't have the ups, isn't able to physically do it. I'll tell you something about Jalen Brunson that he does better than mostly every guy I just named. Body positioning. He is a smarter basketball player than you, and he's more confident than you. He was top 5 in the NBA last year in clutch points for a reason. He's a confident mother effer, and he knows how to position his body. Nothing gets to Jalen Brunson. He's the definition of a dog. We use the word, he's a dog, he's a dog. You hear it all the time. Jalen Brunson's the definition of a dog. If you say who's a dog in sports, it's him, number 1. So, of course, he's a top 10 player. The team's a top 4, top 5 seed, depending upon how these next couple games go. They were a 3 seed ahead of the Bucks for a little bit with their epic, combo of Dame Lillard and Giannis. And then people want to tell me he's not a top 10 player because he didn't flash at the All-Star game. Yo, if you take the All-Star game seriously now, you got a lot of time on your hands. You better go outside. You better go take a walk. Get a dog. You saw Portnoy got this dog, Miss Peaches. Get a freaking dog. Go do something. If you're putting stock in the All-Star game, they scored almost 400 points. All right, so enough of me. Let's end the show. Another episode of the Frankie V podcast is complete. We are out. I will be in touch throughout the week. Next week, I will be going to the NFL Combine with some of the guys out in Indy. We'll be covering some interviews with people like Jeremy Fowler and others, try to get some player interviews as well. Make sure you follow @UStadium. That's our social media and app brand. You could download our app via our Twitter bio or Instagram, so make sure you check that out @UStadium. Shoot us a DM if you want to try our takes feature, which is a way for you to monetize your sports opinions. I, for example, think there's a possibility Malik Neighbors gets drafted before Marvin Harrison Jr. You can't really put a bet on that anywhere, but with UStadium, I can make that a take, put points on, people agree or disagree, one side wins. Follow me @Frankie V. It's been real. Love y'all. Be safe. Later.